can you hold those cans and I'll hold up the jugs here? One of the things with working out from home, people say, oh, you know, I don't have any workout equipment. You don't need any workout equipment. Cans, what do we say those weigh? Half a pound?
Yeah.
And then these, a jug of water, a gallon of water is 8 pounds each. So you can make the exercises harder or easier based on, you know, your fitness level. I'm going to move this down here, Gabriella, so we can see us a little bit better. And I had her sister doing it with her this morning, but I'm going to do it this time. So we're going to do just a series of legs first, then we're going to work our way up to arms and chest, and then we'll end with our core. So we're going to do 1 to 2 things per muscle group. I see something popping up on the phone, so will we be recording? Okay, we are recording, aren't we? Yeah, we already are. Awesome. I don't know anyone's fitness level. I don't know any of your conditions, if you have back stuff, knee stuff. So modify this. Go at your own pace and listen to your body. Okay. Some of these things can aggravate conditions. So either slow down, reduce the range of motion, or skip the exercise altogether. So a squat, I'm going to do from the side. Did you bring your little stopwatch by chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's okay. A squat, you're going to sit down like you're sitting in a chair. Okay. The thing to notice about a squat is a lot of times people want to shift. They want their knees to go so far forward, and that's really going to hurt your knees. So you really want to sit back so your butt is almost in an imaginary chair, and then you're going to stand up. Now we're going to do all these for like 30 seconds to a minute. If people want to, you know, go along and do those, I would recommend doing 2 or 3 circuits of a minute per, you know, exercise routine. That would give you a good 30-minute workout, 20 to 30-minute workout. So we're just going to show the differences. You do the beginner one, so down and up. And I'm going to do a jump squat where I actually leave the ground. So that's a more advanced exercise. If you need to reduce it and make it easier, you can do a half squat. So you can go down really slow and barely go down and then come right back up. So there's always ways to modify. I like chairs, putting a chair behind you in case you lose your balance. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go to a lunge. And a lunge is also going to work our legs. Show us what part of your legs you're going to work.
Like your, what's that called? Calf?
Your calf, your quad, your hamstring. And again, I'm going to do it from the side first and show you. Again, the tendency is to always lean into something. So people want to do it like they're fencing a lunge, and you don't want to go that far forward. You want to go straight down. So you have a 90-degree angle at your knee, and you're just going to go down and up. Nice upright posture, core in, abs tight, looking straight ahead at something. So Gabriella's going to do that static lunge. I'm going to do what's called a dynamic lunge. So I'm going to go down and push back up. Okay, so this is a little harder. And you're going to want to do, if you're doing your circuit for a minute, you're going to want to switch legs at 30 seconds just to keep it even. If you wanted to make it even harder, you can grab the weights. Gabriella brought some books. If your kids have books, 5-pound books. Harry Potter's always good for weights. Awesome. You feel that up in your thigh? She's like, that's about enough, Mom. Okay, good. Let me check my little sheet. I forgot the next one.
Wall sits?
Yeah, oh, wall sits. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to use, I'm going to let you demonstrate that one. I'm going to stay over here. You're going to hold the wall up. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to take your feet about a hip width apart, so a little wider with your legs. Perfect. Shoulders back into the wall. Nice. And this is, you can see, those are working. She's like, oh yeah. Has anyone done these before? These are brutal. Okay. Are they dying?
Yeah,
You're like, that's a minute. Excellent. So again, ways to make that harder. Grab a weight. I was teasing with Gabriella, so you could sit on each other's lap. That would make it harder. No, don't do that. It's too hard. Okay, we're going to transition to push-ups. So we're going to do upper body next. And I think this can be, a full push-up is very overwhelming for people. It can be too hard. So you can start on the wall when you do it. So you're just going to lean into the wall, push, and then push, or fall towards the wall and then push away from the wall. The further out you go with your feet, the harder it's going to be. Okay, so that's going to be the beginner one. You're going to do that one, and I'm going to demonstrate just a modified push-up on the mat, and I'm going to be on my knees doing that. Okay, it's going to be about chest height, shoulder height when you're doing it from the wall. You can do it from your knees, or I'm going to turn this way so you can see your knees like this. Would be easier. If you want to make it harder, straight push-up, full push-up. You can do one leg at a time, is even harder. So again, you can always adjust. You feeling that?
Yeah.
Where are you feeling it?
In my arms and my shoulders.
Nice, good answer. Triceps a little bit, the back of your arms here. Even your core, your abs have to work to try to not to fall towards the wall.
Yes.
Awesome, good, good. Okay, we're gonna do triceps next, which is back part of your arm by doing a closer push-up. So remember that one from this morning where you, instead of being out here,
yeah,
you're in here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, as you do that, I'm gonna come closer to the camera and show them. So your hand position, instead of being like this, is gonna be almost like a little W, and your elbows are gonna come in towards your ribs, okay? Good. Maybe a little bit lower with that, just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. She's like, that's harder.
It's weird.
I don't want to do it lower. And the modified version from the ground would be, again, it's a lot harder than a regular push-up, so you don't have to go very far necessarily. Are they tired yet?
Oh,
They're like, I did 2 sets of these this morning already. Haha. Okay, and then the row, because we want to work our back a lot as humans. Again, we tend to do everything in front of us. We drive, we type on the phone, I mean, everything's literally in front of us. So we want to stretch out our chest and work our back. And so we'll let you use that. I'm going to demonstrate it, but then you're going to do it and I'll cue you. So the old-fashioned lawnmowers, if you don't have an electric start, you take it and you pull, right? That's what we're going to do. So you're going to just take this dumbbell, this bottle of water, whatever you've got, and pull it towards your armpit, okay? And notice that I've gotten real parallel with my torso. If I stood up here like this and tried to do it, that's not going to work my back, because the dumbbell wants to fall to the floor. That's going to be a shoulder exercise. So the thing with dumbbells, you have to work against gravity. So you have to change your body position if you're wanting to work your back, okay? This would work muscles, but it would work your bicep. It would work your shoulder. I'm gonna let you do some. I'm gonna just.
Can I not use the wide grip?
You can do, yeah, you can do the can. You can do the Harry Potter book. You can do whatever.
That's all book.
Okay. So you're backing your legs up, bend your knees a little bit, and then get this real flat with your back flat. There you go. Awesome. And then I just want you to look up a little higher with your head. Yeah, maybe neutral.
Like look at my.
So it's, yeah, look at your fingers. That's a good cue. So she's working rhomboids, lats, biceps, upper middle back. Awesome. Okay, and then you would switch sides. So you might be off the camera.
Oh, maybe.
I can't see that part. My little computer screen went, so we're on our phone still. There you go. Good. And usually if you are like right-handed, that side's going to be easier, you know, if you're right side dominant. So I always tell people to train for the weaker side. Find the side that's not as strong. Find out what weight is challenging for that side. And then do the same weight on the other side. Because if you always train the stronger side, it's going to stay stronger. And you're going to continue to be imbalanced. Awesome. Okay, do you remember what we're doing next? Bicep curls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, you can do that with the dumbbells, maybe. Because the little soup cans are going to be too light, I think. So biceps, you know, these muscles right in here, right? We're going to take the dumbbells and curl up. And now, if you can, if you have the flexibility to do it and the actual, what would you call it? Device, I guess, a dumbbell, because earlier we were doing these, and these are great, but the handle doesn't twist very well. It doesn't move very well, and it's kind of awkward. You want to try to mimic the natural motion. So if you shook your arms out and you let them fall at your sides, they fall so the palms face each other, right? So that's how you want to grab the dumbbell. And then if you went to scratch your shoulder, your palm turns up. It's called supination. It turns this way. So that's exactly how you want to do the curl. If you stood there and went like this with the dumbbell and stayed in this position, you're going to probably get some tension in the inner elbow, maybe some tendonitis. So you always want to do what you normally would do without a weight before you load it with a weight. Good. And I would say you would alternate probably, or do them together if it's okay on your back. Is that easier on your right side?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then shoulder press, we're going to do overhead. And that's probably too light. Maybe grab the 8s. Okay. And I want to show this one. You can do this one sitting in a chair, or you can do it. You want to sit on the physio ball?
Sure.
This is an exercise ball, which can be a great, very inexpensive tool to have at home to utilize for balance. Because when you're sitting on that, what are you working, do you think?
Oh, I guess
You're feeling your stomach?
Oh, it's got me off.
Well, she's got a very strong abdominal muscles. You're going to stay seated and you're going to push that up overhead. You do not see, don't roll back, so you got to keep your feet on the ground. You should have practiced this.
Can we use the 5-pound weight?
Put your feet together. Yep. Put your feet together. I'll grab you. Don't even do weights. Just face the camera and do your arm motion.
Like that?
Just like you're going to bend your knees. Our knees. Bend your elbows. It's been a long day. Bend your elbows. Woo. Okay, and then you're going to push up.
Okay.
Okay. Got it. So now lean forward just a little bit. Yep, and look up. Awesome. Good, good. So again, that's how you would be without the weight. We're just adding weight to it, right? So do 2 sets of 60 seconds or so. Pretty easy without the dumbbells, right?
Yeah.
So this is doing your deltoids, your shoulder muscles. Awesome. Okay, then we're gonna add one we did not do this morning, because you have the physio ball there. There's 3 muscles in your shoulder. You got this muscle in the front, anterior deltoid. You got the middle one, and then you got the posterior deltoid. The muscle in the back gets neglected because again, we do everything in front of us, right? So if you want to improve your posture and you feel like you're kind of rounded a little bit, you want to stretch out your chest and you want to work stuff on the back of your shoulders and the middle of your back. So like she was just kind of naturally doing, you want to kind of pull into a reverse fly or something like that. But because we don't have tubes, we're going to show them how to do that with dumbbells.
Okay.
So you're going to have to switch. Remember what I said about dumbbells before? If you do it without weight for a second, put your arms out at the side. You had your arms out here and I pushed. Which way does your arm want to go? Down. Down. We want the tension to be
backwards.
Backwards. So if you had someone partnering with you, they could push forward. Gabrielle's pushing back into me. That's okay. Relax, muscles. That's called an isometric, where she's pushing, but she's not moving. She's not changing the length of the muscle. So do it again. You could do this against a wall, where you would push into the wall. I'm going to turn around so they can see your back.
So what side was it?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Right there. Okay, now pull back towards the bike. So you can actually see the little muscles firing in there, okay? So you can do it with manual resistance. You can push against a wall. Or how would you do this if you needed to push back against gravity using a dumbbell? How would you have to move your body, do you think?
Up.
Face down. You'd have to go,
like backwards up.
you'd have to go up. You were right with the direction of your arm. You'd have to, so I'm going to demonstrate this one. This is pretty heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
Even 3 pounds is pretty heavy. Go to the left or to the right, just a
Okay.
little bit. So you're going to have to you can go on a bench, you can go on the floor. I'm just going to go on the ball. And you're going to go up, like you were saying, up, up, and away, right? But now where's gravity pulling my dumbbell?
Down.
So it's in the right plane of motion for
Yeah,
those
so
back muscles to work, okay? You can play around with your hand position. You can turn the dumbbells a little bit. If your thumbs are down, it's a little easier on your shoulder. So again, we've worked, go ahead and flip back this way. We've got rhomboids, which is this postural muscle right between your shoulder blades. We've got latissimus dorsi, lats, these bigger like swimmer back muscles. We've got rear delts right back in here. And all of those are what's going to give you that better posture where you're not rounding forward and slouching as much, but you're opening things up and out. Okay, Gabrielle, you want to do abs?
Sure.
Crunches? Yes.
That's great.
Your favorite. Go ahead and go on this little
this
one.
one.
I'm gonna come to the side of you. And I
Okay.
think actually let's turn it a little bit so they can see us better.
Oh, okay.
We'll just go down to one mat actually. Do that. This one you're gonna like. Okay.
So like this?
Yep. So you've probably seen a basic crunch. I want to just cue that a little bit and give you some tips. So I'm going to come on this side. A lot of times when people do ab work, this concrete's pretty hard on my knees, so I'm going to kneel on this. When people do ab work, sometimes they pull on their neck like so. Okay, I really want you to take your fingers, put them behind your neck, and drop your head. Okay? So when you lift up, go ahead and lift up.
Should I have my arms like this or like this?
Try both and tell me what's harder.
This one just feels bad here. It just feels.
If that hurts your shoulders, that's what I mean by listening to your body. She's like, that doesn't feel so good on my shoulders. Then don't do it.
Okay.
Bring your arms in. Good. Good. Awesome. So you're going to crunch up, and as you crunch up, you're going to crunch up high enough to get these shoulder blades off the mat if you can. Okay? You're doing a good job.
Okay.
When are you going to breathe? On the out, on the up, or the down?
On the way up.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
It's just like sort of
You
flow.
breathe out as you crunch up. You still want to hold your breath. It's not super important which way you breathe, but the goal is not to hold your breath. Awesome. Now I'm going to have you relax for a minute. You can do, so you've got abdominal muscles right down the middle called rectus abdominis. You've got muscles on the side called obliques. Those are responsible for turning our bodies, okay? So I'm going to have her change her position of her legs and the position of her upper body. So we did a little differently this morning.
Okay.
But I'm going to have you bend your knees again. Okay. And I'm going to have you tilt your legs towards me. Okay. And then I
Go
want,
this way with my.
you're going to take this elbow over that way. Yes. So it's a cross crunch. Okay. She's coming across her body. So her left shoulder is going towards her right hip. It's a little harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you feel it?
In my abs.
Good. Good.
I don't know which part
Good
is hard to
answer.
differentiate.
Good, good. Let's try 3 more. Breathe out, exhale as you crunch. Nice. Excellent. Okay, now you're going to do another one the other way. So now your legs have to go which way?
This way.
And then
And
that's
then this goes up.
correct. Now, if that strains your back, if taking your legs to the side bothers it too much, you can lean it against a wall. You can put a ball over there. You don't want to go too far with the legs if it feels painful in your back. Okay, so go ahead and crunch the other way. Now, you're going to find one side's easier than the other. Is this side easier?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you probably you're being right-handed, you swing it back that way, you throw a ball that way.
That's your.
Right. I mean, it's just a more natural motion for you.
Plus, it's like stretching the right oblique, isn't it? Because it's like sort of that way. Yeah.
You must have a trainer. Just kidding.
You were talking about it.
Good. Let's do 2 more. I was also saying earlier today, if you feel this in your neck, besides gently holding your neck instead of pulling on your head, you can put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, which sounds really, really weird. But when you do that, it engages some of the muscles in your neck, so you don't feel it as much. Okay? Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Now you flip over. Do you remember opposite arm and leg? This one was hard for you.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
Okay.
this.
So you're going to go on to all 4s. Yep. And really, we tend to ignore our backside. We talked about this before, right? You work our chest, and this is all tight, and we don't pay attention to everything on the back half. Same is true. Everyone crunches and wants to see their abs for the beach, but they ignore this low back area, and that's really a critical spot. A lot of people have back pain, injuries to the back. So she's going to get a nice tabletop here where she's getting real flat with her back. And she's going to just lift one leg up And the opposite arm up. Good. And
Do
you're
I
gonna,
switch from
I think
each
it's
one?
easier to, she just asked if you should switch. I think it's easier to stay in that same combination.
Okay.
So if it's your left arm and your right leg for 6 or 7 of them, 6 to 8, I should say, start with that and work your way up. A minute on these is a lot if you've not done these before. So I always start people small and then gradually increase. Do you feel that a lot?
A little bit.
Where else do you feel it besides your back? You feel it over here in your shoulder?
Yeah, I guess
the arm is kind of holding
Yeah,
you up a little bit. Okay, try the other side. Harder to balance on that
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
He's like,
So this is great for balance. It works, you know, you can't see this side of her hip, but the leg that's down, it's working all those muscles in that hip because her body wants to shift to the side where the leg is on the floor to help her balance. So it's working a lot of deep hip muscles as well. How you feeling?
a little tired.
A little tired? Just do one more. Awesome. Now we're going to show you some stretches, and actually I can take you through those if you want a little break. Are you?
I can do that, that's fine.
Okay, well, while you're down here, let's show them cat and cow. This is a yoga pose where you arch and then you round, and you arch and you round. Now, the only thing you want to do while you do that, your head should follow your body. So your chin chuck, I can't talk, your chin tucks and your tail tucks together. Hold it up there, and you should feel that all in this upper back area, shoulder area. And when you go the other way, it's an arch, and then the chin is up. Do a couple more. Exhale, breathe out, tuck. Breathe in and go the other way. It's one of my favorite stretches. I was telling Courtney, you know, ideally you're gonna stretch before and after a workout. If you have to cheat and you don't have enough time, I would focus on after the workout. Just make sure you warm up before. But stretches like this, yoga kind of things, are great to just do to relieve stress throughout the day. Awesome. Okay, now there's something called child's pose. If you've done yoga before, that's something that sounds familiar. You're gonna love this one because it's something that you probably can do pretty well.
Okay.
So you're gonna take your knees out a little wider. Okay. You're gonna sit your butt back towards your heels, but you're gonna keep your arms where they were.
Oh, so like this?
Yeah, but even further. Reach.
I can't.
Drop your.
Oh, so it's not supposed to be on the ground?
No, and drop your head and relax your head. Okay. You know, it's child's pose. Should be pretty easy for a child to do. Just kidding. And then one of my favorite things to do is do this with a little twist, just a slight twist. So both arms to the left corner of your mat. And then sit your butt towards your right hip a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So now you're gonna feel it all on the right side. Okay, it's basically like a side bend, but you're lying instead of standing. Okay. Then take it over here. So arms on the right corner, sitting back into the left hip. Yeah.
It's not going.
It's okay. Well, that side's tighter. Do you feel how much tighter it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. Thank you, little one. You're done. Thanks for helping. I'm going to take them through the rest of the stretching series. Cool. Appreciate it. You can hang out over there. Thank you. So hamstrings, quads, calves, kind of the upper leg area. You're just going to, you can go upstairs or you can hang out here and just watch, whatever you'd rather do. You're going to lock your knee, you're going to pull your toes up, and you're going to lean into that front leg. When you do that, I usually have my hand on my back leg, right? You don't want to push on this knee and cause it any strain. You're just going to lean forward from the hips, keep your torso real straight. Then you can play around with pointing and flexing that foot. That's going to change where you feel it in your lower body, your lower leg, your shins, your calves. To do the front of your thigh, it's easiest to just grab the top of your foot and pull your heel towards your butt. Okay, so when you're sideways, it's going to look like this. This is a little better view. Lose my balance. So I just have it straight down if I want to work my quad. If I want to stretch my hip flexor, which is a little higher, I'm going to pull that leg back behind me a little bit. So I'm going to feel the stretch up higher. Okay. Then another area, especially now, it gets tight because we're all sitting more than we usually do, is these deep hip rotators, okay? So one of my favorite stretches is called the figure 4. You can do it lying, you can do it standing, you can do it seated. So I'm just going to demonstrate it standing. You can hold on to something lightly so you don't lose your balance. You put your foot up on your other thigh. You're right above your ankle is going to be on that thigh, and you're going to squat and kind of sit deep down and back. The deeper you go and the lower you drop this knee, the more you're going to feel the stretch deep in that hip, okay? Most stretches, a minimum of 6 seconds, 10, 20 seconds if you have enough time to hold. The longer you hold a stretch, the more the muscle relaxes, typically. You don't want to bounce through your stretches. That's not a good idea. Trying to think what else. That's the best kind of stretches for the lower body. For the upper body, Gabriella did a cat and cow. Another great one is just standing. And I'm going to turn around the other way, but standing and reaching, and then side bending. So you can see like what's happening in through my back and my shoulders. Like a little tree is swaying in the breeze. And then you can reach up. So you almost go onto your tiptoes with that other leg. Okay. You can also do trunk twists if you feel. I see a lot of people doing that when they're sitting at their office chairs, or they naturally just lean over and twist. Lean over and twist the other way. And the only thing I would say is when you do that, your head should follow your body. So instead of just doing this, you want your head to follow your shoulder. Okay. And again, that's just kind of stretching out all those muscles in your torso and your neck. So those are some basic stretches. If you feel like your chest is still very tight and your shoulders are tight, you can do a doorway stretch. If you have a door jamb, you just put your arms up to like 90 and lean into the door jamb. You know, I'm going to pretend this is kind of my door jamb. You're going to hold this. You can even do a straight arm and turn away from the opening. So if I did one side at a time, when I add a turn to it, I'm really getting a deeper stretch on that right side. Okay. You can play around with the height of your arm. If it's lower, you're going to feel it in one position. If it's up higher, you're going to feel it in a different, deeper chest muscle. Okay. For the back of your shoulder, coming across your body is really easy and a nice stretch. You can also come up overhead this way and stretch. Okay. So again, you kind of want to think of what do you do all day long, and how do you do it in opposition? How do you reverse what you shortened all day long? Okay. I think what we're going to do now, I'm going to move this back over here. Do we have any questions at this point? Because I think I'm going to go into my other stress management tool. Let me know if you see anything in the chat, because I'm down to my phone. Yeah. I love using dried fruit. I know it sounds weird. People are like, well, I'm nowhere near dried fruit. But I'm sure at home you have raisins. If you have kids, you have raisins, or you have dried cranberries. So that's all I did is I took some dried cranberries and put them in a bowl. And this is a great mindfulness exercise. We tend to run through our day, and later in the day, I think it's faster as the day just accelerates throughout the day. We don't even notice what we're eating. We don't notice how fast we're eating. We don't even sit just to eat. We eat while we're on the computer. We eat while we're driving. We eat, while we're texting. Really, when we eat, we should eat. And I tell people, if you have kids, would you let them be on the computer and eat? Probably not. I mean, maybe nowadays people do, but really you want to focus on just the one thing that you've got in front of you. So cranberries I love, or raisins, because they're really flavorful because they're dehydrated. It's even more concentrated flavors. So I want you to go home when you have access to a raisin or a cranberry, do this, and I want you to look at it really, really close, like you've never seen it before. Okay, and I want you, there's lots of nooks and crannies. It's really a pretty reddish burgundy color. It's kind of some unique shapes to it. I've got 3 of them and they don't look anywhere near the same shape. I mean, they're all a little ovalish, but one is like a teardrop and one is more of a rectangle, I guess. But they've got a weird texture to them, very waxy. And you can almost pretend that you've never seen it before, like an alien dropped these from outer space, you know, and they're like, would you eat these? I don't know what I would do with these. They're kind of weird looking. But then when I smelled them, we did this before, I'm like, whoa, those smell really good, right? They've got a fruity smell. They're very almost citrus, a hint of orange I get from them. But I'm going to put it in my mouth. And when you go to do this, the temptation is to chew it right away, right? And then swallow it, because that's what we do. We eat things almost whole. But I really want you to just put it in your mouth and do nothing besides put it in your mouth. So I'm pretty much going to just suck on the cranberry or the raisin for a minute. And I'm going to notice, like we did with that other meditative exercise, notice what's happening in my mouth. And right now I'm salivating quite a bit because I want to chew it. My body goes, that's food. I want to eat this. I'm hungry, but I'm not chewing yet. I can smell it. I can taste a little bit. And now I'm going to actually chew it. And when I chew it, wow, the flavors just pop. They really, really come alive in my mouth. And one of my favorite things to tell people is, it's a Taoist saying where you should really drink your water and chew your food. And so when you chew, you should chew so much that your food is liquid. And nobody does that, really. I mean, how many of us really do that? That's ideal. But if you could go from swallowing your food whole to chewing it a little bit more so it's closer to liquid, your body will thank you. Because so many people have IBS, Crohn's, there's autoimmune conditions, you know, popping up right and left. And a lot of them, I'm not saying you can get rid of all of them, but many of them are because we're eating too quickly and we're swallowing our food whole and we're making our stomachs have to overwork and all of our, you know, digestive systems out of whack. So our digestion starts in our mouth with our saliva. And if we're skipping that part, everything has to go into overdrive. So this is a great exercise to try if you have little kids. Sit them down, have them do it, like, don't chew it. Don't chew it yet, just suck on it, you know? And they're like, no, Mom, I want to chew it. But teaching them to slow down when they eat. And a lot of them can teach us to slow down when we eat. I know my youngest that was just doing the exercises with us, she is the slowest eater, and it's awesome. Because she's like, Mom, how did you finish? I was like, yeah, you're right. I ate way too fast. So just watching them and learning from them as well is very beneficial for us. So that's my little mindfulness exercise. I think it's a great tool. I've done that for about 10 years. And I still, every time I do it, I kind of learn something new about my body and how it reacts to food. You know, I have memories of baking with my grandma that pop up here and there. And it's just it's a simple exercise to teach people, teach your family, and just to walk through together. It's really a good reminder of how we should be eating and how we should be looking at food.